Hello everyone, and welcome to another Daily Illini Sports Update. I'm Torrence Sorrell alongside my colleague Sam Sherman, and yeah, basketball is back, man. Illinois basketball is back as they defeated Quincy 91-62. So Sam, I guess what are some of the takeaways from the first game you see?
The takeaways, well, the first thing I could say is Malcolm Hill was outstanding for the Illini tonight. He came out, he looked like a guy who could really kind of be that go-to guy. I asked him after the game if he thought he kind of was taking that role, and he was obviously being humble about it and saying, well, you know, that the team really, you know, played a big part in the win tonight. But he looked. I mean, last season he showed some flashes, but it looked like he's kind of put his game together this year.
Right.
The other thing, again, and this was out without Kendrick Nunn, who was sitting with a little bit of an injury, but I think he'll be back. But the other takeaway I had was LaRon Black.
Oh man,
LaRon
Savage.
Black,
Savage.
That's what they call him, and he's been pretty much playing as advertised of what they've sort of said he can do, and what his scouting report, if you want to call it, was. He's in on every rebound. He's in on every tip ball.
And that's a guy you need too, just to be tenacious. And oftentimes you haven't seen that in an Illini big in a long time. You've seen a lot of more finesse big man. But this is a guy who's like he's yelling on the court. He really wants to get every rebound, offense, defense.
And I mean, and in terms of a big guy who's kind of taken some years to develop to get to this point, Nana Egwu was great. You know, he showed again, and with everything, this was an exhibition game, but you could still take some things away. And Egwu looked like more confident. He looked like he's been working on his outside shooting a little bit more, which you know he's shot from the outside in the past, but he kind of brought that element a little bit more successfully tonight for the Illini.
One thing that I liked a lot from him was his leadership role. Obviously, you know, they don't have Abrams, but they have him. And one thing he does is that when I notice during the timeouts, he's always the first person to get up, clapping, you know, just slapping hands, really getting everybody energized. And you haven't seen that as much from him in the other years, but he kind of knows now, like, hey, I'm that guy. I really want to leave everything out on the floor.
You're absolutely right, and they need that guy, like you said, this year. And you know, I'm sure Tracy's going to be, you know, he's not, while he's not on the court, he is out, you know, in the huddle and probably supplying some of that. But I think what the team's been waiting for from Egwu for 3 years and now going into his fourth year is that leadership that it looked like he was showing tonight. And exhibition game or no exhibition game, that leadership is there. So if that can kind of carry on throughout the season, you'd think that for the Illini, that's got to be a positive.
And that's stuff that you really can't teach too in the guy. But just moving on to Ahmad Starks and Aaron Cosby, what do you felt like you said from them in their debut?
It was interesting. So I thought Starks was able to handle the ball fine. I thought he was able to create some shots, which was kind of a concern going into the season. He didn't hit his some shots in the first half. He was a little bit cold. He hit a couple going in the later in the second half. But I don't think that's something that I don't think people should be too concerned with that. I think he shot almost 40% at Oregon State, where he attended before he transferred here. So that shooting will probably come. And then in terms of Aaron Cosby, he's got one of those shots. I don't know exactly. He kind of locks and loads. You know.
That's a quick trigger right there.
Quick trigger,
so
and
grabs it.
And it looks like he's going to be one of those guys. If he's open, he'll be knocking down those shots. Again, he started out a little cold, but you know, it's an exhibition game. First time they've been playing on this court as a team. So
a new court up there.
Very nice looking court. And so. I do think that the shooting is going to be big, and I guess it's interesting. Whereas last year the biggest problem I think was their shooting. This year that won't be a problem. Now they're going to be hoping that they can probably get that interior scoring. You know, obviously they got Egwu, but if Egwu's staying on the outside to shoot threes, I mean, I guess that's
it's a gift and a curse with that too. I would like him to shoot those threes only if he's like getting rebounds, really getting aggressive defensively, and use that as a luxury. But don't just come in the game and just chunk them up.
You'd hope that he's going to be down low and back to the basket, trying to fight for putting up tough shots and things like that. But with that being said, if he's in those opportunities where he can hit those outside shots, let him go.
I guess that'll wrap things up for myself alongside my colleague Sam Sherman. I'm Torrence Sorrell, and we'll see you next week.